He said, how many minutes, man? He said, I said, I give you like 3, 4. I said, minutes for what? I don't know what the fuck. You know, it's an OG. I don't know what he talking about, but it's coming off deep. He said, how many minutes did it take? You know what I mean? For you to get your residency here. I said, what you mean, man? Fucking residency. He said, how many minutes did you take to earn this to stay?
Mover, whose real name is Tungu Agera, he's 23, was convicted of murder along with Stephen Lancera, 22, who were accused of robbing Mr. Lorin Navikios. He's a Greek man, I think. Forgive my pronunciation if that's incorrect.
Like the first time I went to jail, I was 18. Like I'm 31 now. My crimes I have to declare for the rest of my life. So like when I'm filling out forms when I'm like 60, they're like, do you have any convictions? I have to put yes.
The streets is done. If you trying to be a street guy in 2025, you are doomed for failure. There's no success in the streets anymore. And let me tell you why there's no success in the streets no more. Because there's no honor amongst thieves no more. There's no honor, there's no code. People doing what they want, how they want it, and whenever they want it, and breaking every rule and every code of the street game and getting away with it.
The prosecution allege the three men had just come from a robbery in a flat, and they just so happened to decide to rob this man at a bus stop with his father. He was eating an ice cream or something. They just finished renovating a really expensive house. The dad said it happened in 10 to 15 seconds. He was frightened and confused, and the prosecution said that 1 minute he was just there, the next minute it was over.
You see these two? He said, this the police report, and this the police report. Took both of my police reports, and he said, okay, you robbed the joint at this time. They say you was in there for that long. Or you robbed this joint for this time. They say you was in there that long. He said, that's like, each of them is like 2.5. Altogether, that's like 5 minutes, man. He said 5 minutes got you 20 years in prison?
Like how many rappers are actually now, like this year, are basically doing life sentences? Because this is always looking like 15s, 25, 28s, 38s. Guys, you lot watch this, man. You see the street stuff, it's done, man.
And what's happened, and then basically Mover and his friend both got the same sentence, a minimum of 30 years. They got done 10 years for robbery and for the burglary. So altogether it's about 45 years each. It was a very big...
He said 5 minutes. He said 5 minutes. He said, man, and that's long. He said, that's a long time. He said, if you would have shot somebody, it'd have been like 1 minute. You probably could have lost your life for 1 minute. Because he said, mine ain't take that long. You see what I'm saying? He said, I stabbed the motherfucker, man. It wasn't even no, I don't know how long it was. It wasn't no minute. So I stabbed the motherfucker a couple times. He checked out. Wasn't even no minute.
I'll be honest with you. Do you think majority of people that have stabbed somebody and he died wanted to kill him? Is that what you think? I know a lot of people, not proud of it, but I know a lot of people who unfortunately are spending a long time out of their life in prison. A long time out of their life in prison. And I speak to them. They ain't proud of it. If they could bring the person back to life now, they would. And that's the facts of it. And that's majority. You go to anyone that's in prison doing a life sentence and say, if you can bring him back to life, would you? Yeah. Yeah. Go to anyone and ask.
You'll be sitting up in the cell for the rest of your life about one move that lasted a minute. It only take 1 minute to shoot a gun.
Steve.
I'm take 1 minute. So I'm sitting there, I did 20 years in the joint for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is some bullshit. Could change your whole life forever.
Mover, who I will refer to as Agera, as well as Stephen Lansana and at least 2 others attempted a burglary on the top floor flat at 5A Glebe Crescent in Hendon. It was believed there was between £20,000 and £30,000 cash at the address. This took place shortly after 11 PM while the owner was away. With the assistance of a locksmith, they would gain access to the premises. Although no cash was found, a number of items were taken, including a television.
There's something popping up on my Instagram, or like when I was just scrolling through Reddit, and it says Mover's been in jail for 10 years. And I'm thinking 10 years is a long time from a 30-year bid.
Madness.
I saw he got like 30 years in jail. So I was thinking, what did this guy actually do to get 30 years? Because that's a long time. Like, he must have done something crazy, like some type of madness. And when looking into the case, I was just trying to figure out, like, this guy was like a popular rapper. Like, a lot of people liked his music. I never really listened to his music. Like, I wasn't really listening to that much UK music back in the day, like around 2015. It's only like for the past 6-7 years I've been like properly listening to like UK music, pretty much more than like rap music, but I mean more than American music. Then I was just looking into this case and I was just thinking, this case doesn't make no sense. Like, I'm scratching my head thinking like, oh, this is the popular rapper, like, this is the one that like Potter Paper was talking about, like Thoughts on a Cully, like giving him high praise in it. And I'm just looking in this like case, looking at this brother's video. This guy made a great video that like detailed like the whole, like all of the cases, and I was just thinking, this is like one of the most dumbest cases I've literally ever heard from a popular rapper. If this case didn't turn out fatal, this case it feels like it's comical. Like, it feels like something that you'll see from like an American show. It's just pure desperation, and it shows that rappers weren't really making any money like that back in the day. And let's not get it twisted, this is a very stupid case. This is like stupidity at its highest. It's crazy, like what actually went down in this day and a half. But yeah, let's get into this case.
On the 2nd of July in 2014, Mover, who I will refer to as Agera, as well as Stephen Lansana and at least 2 others attempted a burglary on the top floor flat at 5A Glebe Crescent in Hendon. It was believed there was between £20,000 and £30,000 cash at the address. This took place shortly after 11 PM while the owner was away. With the assistance of a locksmith, they would gain access to the premises. Although no cash was found, a number of items were taken, including a television. In the early afternoon of the next day, on the 3rd of July, Teray Yusubi would be driving a VW Passat with Stephen Agera and Stephen Lansana, as well as 2 other occupants, including Bruno Guimarães. At some point, they decided to return to the address at Glebe Crescent to take care of unfinished business.
You're a donut! You're so stupid! You're so stupid! You're stupid!
Wanting to get access to the flat and then to the money. They were unsuccessful in their attempts. At around 4:30 PM, they decided to abandon the burglary attempt and drove off into Downage. What happened afterwards was substantially evidenced by CCTV.
You see, this is where the problem starts. This is completely where the problem starts. Who goes back to the scene of a crime to rob the same spot when you found out there's no money in there? What part of that makes any sense between all 4 of these men them thinking, yo, let's go back to the same spot we robbed, we took valuable items and a TV from? The stupidity is so high between these 4 people is crazy. What did they think that was going to happen? Like, the money's just going to randomly appear in the same spot they robbed. Like, they think like the owner's just going to come back home and look around and see like a lot of his valuable items is missing, and he's just going to go to sleep and be like, nothing weird's happened here. I'm just going to go to sleep and wake up, eat breakfast and go to work and just like leave my valuable item, like leave money. Did they expect like the owner to come back so they can like tie him up and try to find out where the money was? Like, where's this area Hendon anyway? Can someone tell me, like, is this area Hendon like a rich area or like a posh area? Because I don't know, why would you go back to the scene of the crime? But anyway, man, let's get back into this case.
4:45 PM, the Passat carrying the men was on Parsons Street in Hendon, where it passed a Lithuanian national named Zydrunas Laurinavičius. He and his father Pranas were on their way home from work, walking towards a bus stop. Yusubi, who was driving, brought the vehicle to a stop. Agera, Lansara and Guimarães would exit from the car with the intention of allegedly robbing the 2 men. So the 3 of them then ran in the direction of Zydrunas and his father. The court was told that they approached the 2 Lithuanians from behind. During the attack, Zydrunas received 2 serious knife wounds, one to the back of his right forearm and the second and fatal one.
So after the failed second attempt of you trying to rob the same house, you jumped into a car looking for any victim to like rob. This was what's going down on that day. So let me get this straight. You literally saw like a father and son walking down, recognized the watch and literally ran up to the person and stabbed him. Where is the risk assessment? Like, where is the actual risk assessment of like, what's like the protocol? Isn't there like a protocol of like, yo, let me see that watch, or give me your watch? You literally just ran up on him and stabbed him straight away.
Agera would answer no comment in his first interview, but when later questioned, he served a prepared statement denying involvement in the incident and putting forward an alibi defense, saying that he was with a friend called Paul Makoko. Lansana answered no comment to all questions except to provide his name and address. At the top of the prosecution case, Agera changed his defense and plea in relation to the conspiracy to commit burglary, which he then admitted. He then also admitted presence at the scene, saying that he left the Passat in order to return to the address they intended to burgle. He did not say anything about the intention to rob Zydrunas.
So Mover went no comment, then provided an alibi, saying that he was somewhere else when this incident happened. Then switched his statement. He then admitted to conspiracy to burglary, thinking that's like the lesser charge. So thinking, oh, let me take that charge and let me try to avoid this murder charge.
The evidence that Aguera gave was that as he, together with Lansana and Guimarães, caught up with Zydrunas and his father, Zydrunas began to behave in an aggressive and racist manner towards Guimarães. Aguera mentioned that the two had had previous issues with each other, and he called Guimarães an N-word. Zydrunas then produced a knife, and in the tussle, the knife went to the ground. Aguera said that he picked it up and, acting in defense of himself and Lansana, would stab Zydrunas. Aguera accepted that he had subsequently wiped the knife down and then disposed of it in Rowley Lane.
So Mover's defense was he's seen this guy before, they don't like each other, so he's the one that pulled out a knife, the guy that doesn't like Mover. They went into a tussle and my man dropped the knife. So he picked up the knife and stabbed him and threw it away in like a bush. Is that what I'm hearing? So Mover's case is like racism. Racism has got themselves into this situation with this guy and his father, and he was just defending himself.
Both Lansana and Aguera placed reliance on the fact that the deceased had convictions for violence in Lithuania, including for robbery. He had also been cautioned in the UK for possessing a knife and had a history of calling black people niggers. The evidence of Guimarães was very different to that of his co-accused, however. He said that as he got out of the Passat and followed the other two, Aguera and Lansana went to the back of the car. He heard them rustling and Aguera say, "Let's get it," which the court would contend was reference to the knife.
So a tale that's old as time. You tell a whole different story to the police and your boy just basically snitches on you and gives like the actual evidence. It's crazy.
The two men then caught up with the Lithuanians and attacked them. He said that one of the other two had a knife, and he denied that the deceased had racially abused him and said that the Lithuanian men had done nothing to encourage any aggression. It was put to cross-examination that he was trying to distance himself from his co-accused.
There's 4 different people on this case. So that's 4 different people with 4 different stories. It seems like your boy done the stand-up thing and just went no comment on most of the situation. But you switched up your case, like you switched up the story halfway through your like jail bid, and your other guy that's with you has told a whole completely different story. He's saying that you was the one that stabbed him and it was not racially motivated at all. He's basically putting you into the mix. This is the problem when you have like 4 different people on going out on a drill. It wasn't even a drill. This is just like a spur of the moment attack for no reason, for like a fake watch. It's mad still.
The defense teams argued that the weapon was produced by Zydrunas. However, the DNA evidence was said to be 1 in a billion chance that Zydrunas had produced the weapon, and the judge noted that the evidence was looked over by the jury and it was their job to agree on whether the defendants were guilty or not. It was common ground that the fatal injury had been inflicted by Aguera, the issues for the injury being in whose possession the knife originated and whether it was self-defense.
So it's confirmed that Mover stabbed the guy in front of his dad around 5 p.m. on a normal day because he wanted a watch that he thought was real but ended up being fake.
The jury had to be sure that A, Aguera was guilty of murder, that B, he was involved in a joint enterprise to rob Zydrunas, that C, at the time of embarking at the robbery, he was either carrying a knife or was aware that one of his co-defendants was carrying a knife, D, that at the time of embarking on the robbery, he realised that there was a real risk that one of his co-defendants might use the knife to stab the intention of killing or causing really serious bodily harm, and finally, they would have to be sure that he went ahead and played a part in the robbery, knowing all of the relevant facts previously stated.
I need to know what watch you saw to make this rash of a decision. You cannot be crashing out over a Rolex. Like, this has to be a high-end Rolex. I'm not even trying to make fun of or make light of this situation, but it needs to be a high-end watch. No, because I want to know what type of watch that'll give you a 30-year sentence, because I don't think there's any watch out there that I'll exchange for a 30-year sentence. It just seems like you just had a bad day and a half, and you just got frustrated and just wanted to crash out, which I will never understand. Anyway, you still got 20 more years to reflect.
On 14th of May 2015, after a trial lasting 5 weeks, Stephen Aguera and Stephen Lansana were convicted at the Central Criminal Court in front of Judge Poulet and a jury. Their alleged crimes were robbery and murder. Both had previously pled guilty to conspiracy to commit burglary on the 8th of April 2015 during the trial. 2 other defendants were acquitted of murder and robbery. On the 15th of May, the judge sentenced both to life imprisonment for murder with a minimum term of 30 years, taking away time spent on remand.
Yeah, just like rounding this up, it's just like a story of stupidity. Like, you are a popping rapper in a music scene which is developing into like artists actually making money. Like, if this happened like 5 years ago, it's pretty much will be inexcusable to like the audience. But it happened 10 years ago where money was just getting made, Spotify was just coming in. But yeah, bro, like the money you could have made from... We wasn't even going to make any money, to be honest, because you got like a fake watch. So the money that you could have made was probably peanuts, probably like a few £1,000 from the watch you would have sold. And now you're in jail for a long bid. While all the others around you, all your peers, are making millions or hundreds of thousands. And they're doing it without like showing their face or anything. Like, there's people making thousands of money, rappers making hundreds of thousands of money without even touring. Like, most rappers can't even tour, but this, like, you could have actually toured. Your music seems pretty good. Like, you had versatility. There's people saying that you was better than Pot of Paper back in the day. So yeah, now you're just sitting back thinking, rah. But here's what it is, man. Anyways, like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out.
He said, "This the police report, and this the police report." He took both of my police reports, and he said, "Okay, you robbed the joint at this time. They say you was in there for that long, or you robbed this joint for this time. They say you was in there that long." He said, "That's like, each of them is like 2.5. Altogether, that's like 5 minutes, man." He said, 5 minutes got you 20 years in prison?